told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Welcome to the Journey of Life podcast powered by Zozo, the brand. If improving yourself, elevating and educating yourself is part of your life's goals, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Dr. Tendaishe Monalissa, bringing you another episode of the Diaries / not Diaries. And as per tradition, we have some special guest hosts. So in honor of the month of March, which is Women's Histories Month, I have two of my sisters.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Alert.
Two of my sisters here, and we're just going to, do this episode together. So yeah, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Dr. Rose, CEO of Alison by Shay and Umnandi. What's up?
It's show.
Alert. How do I even follow that? Alert. My name is Dr. Alison. What am I? Who am I? I am the CEO of AV Nails and host of the Article podcast. What else do I do in life? And upcoming other things, they're in the pipeline.
Yells and yells and yells. You guys, you're bringing out something out of me now.
They must know our true self.
Try. Shining.
Oh, yeah.
But this is supposed to be a women empowerment episode, and here we are. So I prepared a separate education segment for you guys, so make sure you listen.
As you fade away, as you fade away. And here's to the education segment. We're celebrating March, where we celebrate women's history, their struggles, their achievements, and all the things that are amazing that, as women, we are in this world. So in this education segment, I wanted to use this opportunity to share some of the amazing women who have made history in Zimbabwe, which is the country where I come from. So here's a little education for you guys. So firstly, I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Rebecca Chisamba. She's a talk show host that a lot of us millennials and I guess early Gen Zers grew up on. She's a businesswoman. And her talk show, the My Chisamba Show, which is still present until today, you can watch it on YouTube. It was big on the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Television. This is a show that talks about like many issues, which include health, marriage, sexual relationship, otherwise known in Shona as Tsikane Magariro, which is how people live and their customs and things like that. She was the only Zimbabwean hosting a talk show in the Shona, one of the many languages spoken in Zimbabwe, in the days that the English language was dominant in Zimbabwe. As you know, guys, we were a British colony, so a lot of our broadcasting content was in English. Broadcasted content was in English. I'd like to acknowledge a favorite childhood icon of mine, Betty Makoni. She established the Girl Child Network, which supported sex abuse victims in 1999. She really did amazing. I remember, I think I was first or second grade, and watching on TV, they used to talk about this Girl Child Network. She was also a victim, of gender-based violence and things like that. So from that, she decided to advocate for girls, for women, and I think that is so amazing and her impact. If I can say this, as a 20-year-old now, back then, that her influence was impactful to me, I can imagine so many other women in Zimbabwe and beyond that she has impacted with this endeavor. So I'd also like to acknowledge the first female vice president of Zimbabwe, Joyce Mujuru, and to educate you guys, Zimbabweans or otherwise, that actually she was the youngest cabinet member when Zimbabwe gained independence in 1980. So I'd like to also acknowledge the first lady of Zimbabwe, Sally Mugabe. Actually, she is Ghanaian. She was the Secretary General of the ZANU-PF Women's League and founder of the Zimbabwe Child Survival Program. She was a major supporter of the liberation struggle before independence in 1980. And she was really a beloved First Lady. I remember growing up hearing so many positive things. I mean, she later passed, I believe, in the 1990s. So yeah, I'd love to acknowledge Mrs. Sally Mugabe. I'd love to acknowledge, even in today's time, one of my favorites, and popularly known as Tete Tilda, Tilda Moyo Kariza Mimba. That's her, Tilda Moyo is her maiden name. So she's a radio personality tackling sensitive social topics in Zimbabwean society. She has a couple of shows actually that I listen to even on YouTube that are hosted in Shona, and I think they're geared at solving these social problems. I think she covers some really interesting stories as well, breakout stories currently happening in Zimbabwe at the moment. You know, I like a lot of the shows. She has won a Lifetime Achievement Award and continues to impact people together with sponsors and supporters through the Tilda Foundation Trust. So these are the women in Zimbabwean history who are iconic, among so many others that I haven't mentioned, but these were a couple that came to mind, and that I guess their influence reached me personally. So I'd also like to acknowledge women who are in the process of making history right now, younger women, products of these women that I've mentioned. I'd like to mention we have women like Ruveneko Paririnyatwa. She's a broadcasting journalist, television and radio host making waves, the likes of Miss Chindia, Zimfit Moms. These women are pioneering and influencing the fitness culture among Zimbabwean women and the world over, because of how global the world has become, a global village, so their reach is beyond Zimbabwe. We have women like Tyra Chikocho Monetsiwa, Madam Boss, making waves in the social media content creation and brand representation. And she's very popular. She's won a social media award, I believe, acknowledged in Africa as well. We have radio personalities like Miss Red, my favorite, KVG, Tintin, Ajane Sakarombe, Candice Mwakalele. I grew up listening to these women on the radio in primary school. When my dad used to pick up, or our driver used to pick up us from school, I'm listening to this women on radio. It's been very inspiring, especially for someone like me who also wants to have a platform, talk about things that matter, be part of things that matter. So I'd really like to give these women their flowers. There are so many Zimbabwean women. I'd love to include myself and my friends. We continue to lift them up and respect the crawling they did so we can run today. To women in the world over, let's continue making history. Humanity quite literally depends on it. And that's it for the education segment. See you in the next part.
As you fade away, as you fade away.
Welcome back, guys. So now we're just going to vibe out. I thought that it would be really good for us to just share a little bit of our lives, our family stories as women, our life experience as women, in the different aspects of, just living in this modern world as a female, because that has its own difficulties. And hopefully this episode will be empowering. It will have advice or just some relatability, So yeah, I think before we get into the depth of everything, um, I wanted us to just share a little bit about, our personal family history, like women in our family. So for me, I come from a long line of very, independent women. My mom she has so many sisters. So I've grown up seeing a lot of women who are like leaders, especially like even in family, with a lot of women leadership and empowered women, very educated, very business oriented, running their own thing. So I feel like that's what I view as womanhood. And that's kind of like how I see myself as a woman. That's what I aspire to be or know to be. So I think that's how it's been like in my personal family history, the women. How about for you?
I think in my family it's the same actually. We have a lot of females in our family, especially my dad's side, my mom too. I actually have to think about this one. But I would say I come from a long list of hardworking ladies. Very like strong-willed, independent ladies. So roughly the same. Roughly the same. No nonsense, kindly.
We do not play.
We do not play. I come from a much smaller family, but again, very female predominant on my mother's side. On my mother's side. On my dad's side, I have one auntie, one tete. So, yeah. And she was raised in the time period where women weren't as emancipated. So it's very different in that sense. But on my mom's side, very powerful, also very no-nonsense. You all have that auntie. We are the aunties. I will not be that auntie. I'm going to be cool. I've made a vow to myself. I'm going to be cool. I can't be that auntie. Maybe one of you.
Honestly, I think for me, I'm just letting myself come into being. I think there's so many things that I thought that I wouldn't be, and then I just find that that's how I am as a person. So I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna be who I am, and maybe the things I don't know, manage or attenuate, maybe I can try. But at this point, like I think I grew up feeling like, I don't want to be like my mom in these ways. And then I just grow up and I'm just like that. And I can't even help it,
And everything.
Like, there you go. So, like, how am I supposed to escape? I'm just a photocopy at this point, Yeah, so I think that's really interesting because I feel like, it's a testament to also like the age that we are coming from, the generation of women that we are coming from. And I feel like it plays a role in the kind of women we grow up to be and we've grown up to be. Because I think in their time, probably if they would be here to tell us like the line of women they come from, it would be different. Like totally the story would be different and everything like that. So I think we've had the privilege of coming from women who have actually empowered us by seeing them empowered, seeing them being independent actually and everything like that, which is a privilege I don't think that like maybe they got to have, or even maybe other Zimbabwean women our age got to have as well. So yeah, guys, we wanted to actually really talk about the struggles of womanhood. We wanted to talk about the powers of womanhood as well, and the women who have like actively empowered us in a way that we can't like ever forget. I think going first, I would say that for sure, my mom. My mom,
number one.
And my mom. Thank you to my
mom. Before I even say thank you to my man, thank you to my mom. Thank you to my mom. I think she has empowered me in so many ways that I will never ever forget. I think she's one of the people who made sure like my education was on point. She really pulled up and did her best to ensure that like the homeworks were done. you know, those very small things. I
small
think you
things.
start to appreciate it when you see the amount of effort and intentionality like a parent has to put into those things for them to be in place. So I feel like she really did a great job in empowering me as a young girl. I'm an only daughter. Yeah, can't relate. I'm an only daughter, and I think unlike maybe some other people, my story has never been like, oh, I'm the one who was always doing the chores in the house or anything like that. Like my mom particularly made sure that like she treated us all equally. You know what I mean? Like I never thought like it was my responsibility to take care of the house, to cook, to do this. Like it was something my brothers and I were always equally responsible for and capable of and should be capable of. So I really see how she, you know, fostered like independence in me, equality. You know, she was about that, about equality, about equity, about equalizing like my education opportunities, for example. Like, you know, some of these things, when we say them, it just feels like, oh, it's a regular thing. But if you look at, you know, a lot of our cultures, you see that it's not. It's actually not. Like some people, simply because they were born a girl, they didn't get afforded the same opportunities as their siblings. It's like, even if they got educated, it was like, well, there's no point in taking a girl child to uni, for example. But here we are in med school, 10 years later after high school. We are still here.
A few moments later.
We're still here. So I think it's really something that I really appreciate. Yeah. My mom, my aunt, who's my mom's older sister, I think she has empowered me in a way that I would never ever forget as well. Like for me to sit here on this podcast, you know, like as a medical doctor, I think that is something, you know what I mean? When people empower you with education, with degree, with something that you can, you know, it's one thing to give someone fish, but to teach them how to fish, to give them a fishing rod so that they can fish themselves, then you have truly, truly like empowered them to take care of themselves or to make themselves better. So I think before, you know, I used to be like, oh yeah, my role model is, you know, is Oprah and this and that. Beyonce. Yes, Beyonce. And then I'm like,
do you remember that? Someone to be someone sent a voice note to Beyonce's Instagram.
Exactly. It was Sissy Bio and Sissy Reed.
But
we don't know these people from Adam. They actually haven't actively impacted us like the way the people in our lives who are changing our lives actively have impacted us. So I really wanted to give those flowers to those people who are actually actively touching our lives. We're not to discredit, you know, the things that these other really big women are doing. I'm sure they're impacting so many lives in significant ways, but thank you to my mom.
Thank you to my mom.
Yeah. You go, Sissy.
For me, the list is endless. Because, like, in my family, we're full of it's women empowerment shit. But I'll mention a few. First of all, my mom, of course. Thank you, mommy. And I not listen to this, but you know,
we send her a short
thank you.
Thank you to my mom.
Thank you to my mom. But like, definitely my mom, because she's like my fighter. Like, the way I think I get to appreciate it because I see the way she's raising my sister's kids. And I get to appreciate it in a different way because I get to see what she was doing with us and the work she put in for me to be like the woman that I am today, you know, like coming to those sports events, my inter-house, like you said, the homework, like just pushing. Like she's always like pushed me to work hard. Work hard, spend your money. Before you get married, but like, spend your money. Period. She always said that. She's always said that, and like, definitely, like, big up to my mom. There's my Sunday school teacher. Guys, you know, I'm a Christian girl, Jesus girl, and she really like helped with that foundation, you know.
that Christian foundation and stuff like that. And till now, she will text me, send me like messages.
Really?
Yeah, she calls me like her Tsingare girl. You know, I'm like, hey G. Whenever there was something they needed at church, I was always there. I was always there. I was always church girl. But no, she just molded me in a different way, and I really appreciate that. My sisters, for sure. Hey, they've done their best.
You know, the way you're saying it, like, you know, I was supposed to come out better. They didn't try.
They've done their best, but I feel like I'm the one who's really done the best with them. You know, I've really pushed them in a certain way. But yeah, my mom's I didn't say Tete. So my auntie, yeah, God bless her soul. May she rest in peace. Her. Hey, yeah.
It's giving she had
It's giving
mad advice.
Or
was she the one who was panel beating you?
No. She was the G. She was the G. She was the cool auntie. The cool auntie.
So nice.
The list is endless, guys.
Getting emotional.
You cry. I'm talking about the women.
Yeah. Tell us.
I think that's it for me.
I mean, just going untrained. And my mom. Thank you to my mom. Yo, my mom.
It's not even trend, Alison.
Maybe trained over here. Yes, my mom is my bestie. My mom knows everybody's stories.
Girl.
My mom knows she knows my stories too. So, but apart from being like Tindy's mom and literally photocopying herself,
Honestly,
she's been amazing. And you know, there's something about being a girl child. I don't know. Maybe it was just me and fighting.
You're the only girl.
Oh yes.
It's
Yeah, and like that little car fighting period that you have with your mom when you're a teenager. I think I never really appreciated my mom then. Like I didn't at all. I remember even one time telling her, I hate you because of something so stupid. And I could see that when we got home, it was like something that actually touched her because she told my dad on me. And he was like, oh, you don't say that to your mother. And at that point, I was really feeling like, well, your wife.
You did this.
Yeah. But I'm going to speak about one moment that touches me every single time we mention women or mothers or whatever. I had just done my A levels and I was always like an A student and everything like this. But for my A level, my grades weren't A's. They weren't bad grades, but they weren't 15 points. And my dad, that's what he was expecting, rightly so, from a really smart kid. And we had this tradition in my family where whenever something significant happens, you pass, that kind of stuff, we go out for lunch somewhere, anywhere, and for the sole purpose of like celebrating. Like I come from a big line of big celebrators all the time. We find a reason to be grateful. And after we got my results, we didn't celebrate. And I didn't want to celebrate because I knew. I wasn't expecting to celebrate because I knew. But there was always this comparison. I was always compared to the girls from church and, you know, other people who were my age. Because I'm a little, I don't want to say colorful because that's wrong in the way that I'm thinking about it. But like I'm a little outside the box a little bit. Like I'm just into what you see is what you get. I like, so I'm on the crazier side of the spectrum, on the more audacious, if you want to call it that. So it almost seemed as if like I was destined to fail. Like when my points came out, the Zimsec ones hadn't come out. And it seemed like, oh my gosh, if she got these points, definitely everybody else has gotten 15 points for sure. That year, people failed. Though. When I say they failed, I mean like my 3 points and stuff. Like they really went down. Yes, bro. Like my 1. And I think, hey, I actually did pretty well. So I remember one of those days when the results had come out, I really wanted to express that all the people you were comparing me to, I actually passed. And my mom just told my dad on our way home, let's pass through Sam Levy's village and go out for lunch on me. And I was like, huh? Okay. And my dad asked, so because of why? Why are we doing that? And my mom said, because she passed. Oh, I will never, ever, ever forget that. And I remember thinking, I passed. Because I felt like such a disappointment, like I've done this really bad thing, like, and I've dreamt about being a doctor since I don't even remember wanting to be anything else in my life. And now with these points, I definitely can't get into the UZ. And, you know, it was those days, it was like the UZ is the best place to be. That was all the news. So the fact that I couldn't get into the UZ, it was very obvious, even if I tried. Maybe if my dad had managed to pull out one of his connections, perhaps. But there was no way. You know, they wanted 15 points, period. And those days, kids were not doing like 20 points and stuff. So, but anyway, I'll never forget that moment. From that day, I think I knew, this is my ride or die. You know, so my mom for sure, and being an only girl, I don't have sisters to refer to or anything like that. But there's this woman, she was my biology teacher from Form 1 to Form 4. She was also my choir teacher. Her name is Mrs. Bismarck. Shout out.
Shout out, Miss B.
Shout out. Oh, no, I don't even think she gets the impact that she had on me. Man, I love that woman. Aww. So much. Yeah, she did the most in ways that she didn't even know. So, I didn't know I could sing. It wasn't a thing. So I sang at this like Form 1 thing that we had to do. And I remember she might have said it like jokingly or whatever. She was like, you totally have a place in my choir. Like when you're now in Form 3, because you could only join when you're in Form 3. And she was like, you totally, you know, you should totally come. You are totally in. And I had zero confidence. I was coming from a government school. And now I'm at a private school with just girls. And like the overload of estrogen was not doing well for me in Form 1. I was very pseudo-confident. And I think in some ways, sometimes I am still. But then it was more pronounced. Like people just think I'm confident because I look and seem it. But inside it was a burning bush or something. And that made me, like, it boosted my confidence. And I loved biology just because she was cool. I just looked up to her so much. And I remember I ended up being captain of the choir and everything. Like, she built my confidence from that side of things, from the choir side of things and everything like that. And, to this day, like, what can I say? Her DMs are still open. So if I need help, I was going through, you know, these my 20s shmanos, and she was the only person I could think about talking to. I couldn't wait to go home, and I hadn't spoken to anyone about like what I was really going through, and she was the only one I could tell. And she spoke to me in a way that I was like, Yes, actually, I can do this live thing. Actually, let's go ahead and do it. That and my grandma, because she's funny. But yeah, I think when I think about people, I think about immediately from that perspective, my mom, Mrs. B, and my grandma. Yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, shout out to the Gogos.
I'm telling you, shout out to those women, you know, that really made an imprint, you know, that still is alive within us, you know.
True.
I think another part of womanhood that's really big, I think it's like body and self-image. And that's quite the struggle that I feel like we probably have for life.
Yeah.
in many different ways. Because, you know, your body is always changing. But I think for women, like, it's a bit more intricate than that because you've got the hormones having you by the neck, sis. Like sometimes I'm just like, I know that I'm going through it, but it's my body. It's like,
my body. Relax.
It's like, I'm not even in control.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't even control how I'm feeling right
No,
now.
you can't.
You know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes you have to take account retrospectively and start to be like, oh, my period was coming. Okay, this makes sense now.
This is
And
why I
it's
was
like,
crying.
yeah, and it's like,
That's
so,
me all the time.
All the
12
time.
times a year.
And my guy, and it's so like, it takes time to get to that place, you know, because I feel like nobody ever sat me down to tell me this.
No.
You know, like, I don't even know if our mothers, our aunts or sisters were fully aware of this scientific aspect of what the hormones have the power to do to like your mental state and everything like that, and how they're changing can also affect your mood and whatnot. So for them, and I remember growing up, you know, you'd always hear, like, when we were, you know, preteens or early teens, you'd always hear guys, whenever a girl is like moody or snappy, they're just like, oh, she's on a period.
Yes, on a
And I
period.
never used to understand it, you know, and it was
pissed
really
me
annoying.
off.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
And
And
it
it's like, I'm not on my period though.
Exactly. Like, you pissed me off.
You're just pissing me off.
Exactly. And it would be so annoying because I felt like, you know, it was abused, and guys use that to like mansplain, you know, and all these things that are really irritating. So if you're a guy and you do this, like, it's actually more irritating, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
By the way, so yeah, it's not quite literal like that, you know. Our cycles are something. Would like to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But even us too, please extend some
Grace.
grace.
Yeah.
You know, it is tough to carry this reproductive machine around
And
because
it's different every month.
I'm telling you, man, it's a different animal. This time you've got one lizard. Tomorrow, next month, I'm telling you. Next time it's like, it's just a different creature every single time. But I think I remember the first like body self-image, maybe little things that I started to have was like, I think, no, it was way before that. In primary school, I think later in primary school, you know, when everybody starts to develop, then there's starting to be physical differences between you guys. And I remember back then, the girls who developed early, I think it's a very popular thing in our culture. I don't know in other cultures, where the girls who develop the boobs early, the hips widen early, it's almost like they are labeled like they are trying to grow up too fast.
Yeah.
As if they're in control.
No.
They can't help it, you know what I mean? And I remember talking to some of my girlfriends, you know, who developed pretty early, and how that aided in like their body image issues, because from such a young age, they were told that they are wrong for developing, you know, so fast. They're looking for male attention. They were always insecure about, you know, their body, and they were always trying to cover up their curves, their what. So it was never from oh, this is my style. It's from I'm covering up this thing that is wrong with me, you know? And it's so sad because like you see how it impacts. Someone is now like a whole adult, and they still haven't recovered from those things that were said when someone was so young. So I think it's one of those many struggles that people have. And there's the opposite end of the spectrum, the late bloomers as well. And it's like, you know, also that is a problem, you know, getting called a boy, oh, you know, this and that. So I think there's a lot of trauma, I think, with body and self-image for women. Well, we're talking about women, we're women. I can't speak for men. This episode is about us. You know what I mean? I think for me personally, as a person who's slender, I've always been slender. I don't even know if I'll never not be slender. It was hard coming to terms with my body and loving it and accepting it, because it always felt like, you know, when even people said that, oh my gosh, like you have a model body, there was a point in my life it started to feel like an insult. It started to feel like it's a polite way for people to tell you that you're too skinny.
Yeah, too skinny, yeah.
So now they wrap it up in you have a model body. That's what it started to feel to me. And, you know, like, there were, you know, those kind of statements, like, for example, oh, you know, you don't eat. Like, people just assume that you don't eat. I'm telling you, like, and you know, back home, people are so upfront about it, like so insensitive about it.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Oh, you, like they'll single you out. Oh, you don't eat, and when it's time to eat, everybody's like paying attention to you and everything, and you can imagine it's so uncomfortable. And I eat like a maniac.
Yes, you do.
And honestly, I feel like part of it is like I do enjoy food, but I think part of how I eat, it's a realization that I just made of late. Part of how I eat is also because of that. It's like it's almost like I'm compensating for that. I'm compensating for the people who would assume that I don't eat. So I had to show them that no, I do eat. Look at all this food that I eat. But you know, that's how these like eating disorders are developed. And eating disorders are not just about not eating or being bulimic or anorexic. Exactly. Obesity and everything. All those things are eating disorders that, you know, can be built by those little small comments that, you know, people make. And then there you go. Just because somebody is saying, you know, oh, you're too skinny, you start to, because nobody, I don't think a lot of people grow with any insecurities until other people start to present, point out that your forehead is big. You, when you see it every day, it's normal. Exactly. It's normal. And yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a normal forehead. Oh, my nose is normal. Until someone else points out a supposed flaw, then you're aware of it and you start to obsess over these things that you can't really change about yourself. So I think it took a lot of time before I could accept myself, before I could even think of myself as someone that could be attractive to the opposite sex, because of course, like when you're younger, you're totally male identified, you know, yes, how pretty you are and how everything you are, you know, it's definitely based off of what the male gender thinks, you know, for a while in your life until you grow out of it, which some people never do. You get one, which is sad. And
I still think that even when you grow out of it, it still exists.
Do you think it's a bad thing though?
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Me too.
I think with everything, just like with everything else in life, balance.
Yeah.
Of course, but it still remains a little bit, and I think a healthy amount when you grow out of it.
Yeah. Because I mean, at the end of the day, let's say, I think we are human beings and we are supposed to be, we thrive on getting feedback from our external environment.
Yes.
So I feel like there actually isn't anything wrong. Because I feel like now society, we want to push ourselves to these extremes where it's like, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks. I do. I actually do. Yes. You get what I'm saying?
20, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I shouldn't be consumed with that. And my identity is based off of what other people think. But to just live life so, I guess, like selfishly, like so self-absorbed, it also doesn't like make sense. Of course, like there are some people I genuinely do not care what you think. I don't.
Period.
And then and there's some things that I do care about. Yeah, actually that matters to me. You know, how is it like for you, like developing like yourself, your body, and like self-image growing up?
I feel like with me, I never really like struggled with it that much.
Period.
Gangster. I'm a gangster girl. Kidding. Not kidding. But like, I grew up with like a slender girl. Because my mom growing up, slender, model body actually, but you wouldn't think about it now. Because apparently, I'm the one who made a bed. She would not allow me to, exactly. She would not allow me to forget it. But I never really struggled actually. Because I always grew up like a slender girl. It's only like when I came here, I was a little bit big, and I don't mind gaining. I actually love being bigger. Till this other girl downstairs to me that you look like you got stung by a bee. I said, what? She ain't talking to me like that. She ain't talking to
girl on girl crimes, sis. Girl on girl violence.
So then I was like,
black on black crime.
No, that actually made me a little bit insecure because I was like, am I that
big?
Is my face looking like that? Like he's saying I look like I'm stung
by a bee. Guys,
Yes, roll it. Let me translate. Just I think that's when I got just a little bit insecure.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think people don't realize that as we grow, right? We're women. Our body changes. When you're 20, you're gonna get bigger. Around that 25 age, you
get a second puberty.
Around this 30, it's like fifth puberty. Like, you know, you keep growing, you keep growing. But like lately, I feel like the insecurity I have is if I am smaller. I'm generally slender.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come to me and say, I've lost weight, I hate
me too.
it.
I hate it too. I hate it too.
I don't like it.
Conversation.
I don't like it. I don't like. I feel
even if I look at the scale, like
I feel then like I'm scrawny. Like in that, I don't know how to describe it. But Alison knows these days. I don't like it because a lot of people now church are like, "Oh my gosh, Rose, you're losing weight. You're so tiny." I'm like, "Don't tell me that. I actually don't want to know."
Yeah.
Like,
and you start to feel insecure.
Insecure
like,
about it. I get so insecure because now I can even see with my clothes that I've been a little stressed. I've lost weight. So what?
And the thing is,
tell me that I've lost weight. I don't want to hear it.
And you know, sometimes like yes, you can lose weight, but it's actually not synonymous with you not looking good, which is the message that we also get that I'm not looking good anymore, but actually you still look great.
I feel like that's what happens in my head though. Exactly. It's like, no, this weight loss is actually so good, and you know, like, oh, I'm trying to gain some weight, I'm going to the gym, I want to take protein, I want to get bigger.
There was a way we could transfer these things and say, oh, you have some excess, I need some more, let's do it. I wish, man.
I feel like that's I have one more, my nose actually.
What?
My nose, because I got like I played hockey back in the day, field hockey. So we're playing against this team, and then I got injured in my nose. My nasal septum shifted, so you can't see it. But then those people really look at me and be like, your nose, you know, it's kind of to the side. And it's like, you think I don't know that is to the side? Like, why are you telling me that?
It was cool, and I mentioned it, and I was like, I kind of like the way your nose does this. And
I feel like because you're mentioning it now I'm like looking at it like this.
You can't tell? It's like a slight thing, but like I was so conscious about it because you know African parents, they don't go fix what your nose is.
No,
so just leave it nose.
Even if your eyes are close to the back of your head, it's like can you see? Okay, if you can see, no problem.
It's very slight though, but I feel like maybe that's why also I'm having all these breathing problems because it's not straight anymore.
Yeah. I was about to say maybe this is why you've had.
Sounds like I'm gonna get a lot of money, you know. We're gonna get it fixed.
Don't be fixing too much because it fits you well. Don't go and take somebody. I don't know. You know, be looking like a pig. Like no,
not a pig.
Yeah, you know this one where they bring up the tip.
Yeah, they bring up the tip, and then
you're looking a little.
Yeah, I feel like those are the ones. To be honest, just my nose, and then now it's looking. Guys, don't tell me I've lost weight. We go fat. Put it out.
Me personally, for me, if whatever you have to say about the way I look is not a compliment, reserve it.
Yeah.
Reserve it. I don't care, and I don't want to know what you think about how I look. Honestly speaking, unless it's a positive thing, unless you like my makeup, positive, unless you like my body, please, I don't want to hear what you think that is negative about me. Keep it in your heart. Keep it there. I don't want to hear it. And I feel like, I think because I've always been a person who's very, I won't say sensitive, but who's been very aware of how comments people make, you know, are impactful to me. I'm very careful about that when I'm talking about people. So for me, I'm going to pass a compliment. And then for my friends, when they ask for my feedback, that's when I tell them what I think. But I'm not very quick to comment on how someone looks, whether they've gained weight or lost weight. You know, like I'm more keen to hear how they feel about their body in that moment. And then I can give my feedback from that. Because I feel like I'm comfortable to have certain conversations about my body with certain people. I'm not comfortable to have my conversation with you somebody from, I don't know, from Adam, I don't know you from a hole in the wall, and now you're here
telling me all of
talking
these
to
things.
me about my body. No,
Yeah,
no
true.
thanks.
If
No
it's like
thanks.
family members and my friends, because even my sister noticed, she's like, "Yo, girl, you know you've lost weight." Say, well, we're not gonna do
It is
about
what it
that.
is.
It is what it is. But
so
you're losing weight too, though. We're
But
doing
yeah,
this together. Literally, foot.
you know,
It is well.
Growing up, I think one of my biggest insecurities was my eyes, which is really funny because that's my favorite thing about myself now.
There you go.
But it was very like negative because they used to say my globe. Like 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 a bulb, like a light bulb, like you have eyes as big as a light bulb. And so I used to think it's such a bad thing to have if you check, I don't even know if I have old pictures of when like I was like grade 7, Form 1ish. I always tried to do it in a way where I like squint them a little. It never worked because I mean they're big. I mean you should see my entire family line. We look like we all have creams, like. But yeah, so that was it growing up, and then I started kind of liking them. I was like, wait, they're kind of cool. Actually, I really love my eyes actually. And then I was actually slender growing up, very slender. I didn't gain weight easily and stuff like that. And then I had severe dysmenorrhea when my menstrual cycle started, but later on around like lower 6, upper 6, the dysmenorrhea was getting like almost unbearable. And then I went to see a GP, and then they were like, oh, hormone imbalance. So I got prescribed birth control, the pill, just for 3 months to balance things out. And the dysmenorrhea got a little bit better for the 3 months, but I gained weight. And I've never been able to shake off that weight since that time. So, I mean, I noticed that I think I'm getting bigger. And it was then like changing my skirt size, like in high school. Like, oh, my skirt size changed. But like we were always drowning in those Arundel skirts. So nobody was gonna notice. Nobody was gonna notice. It didn't help that I was best friends with this. She is what we call conventionally beautiful. Like, there are very few people who wouldn't think that she's beautiful. Light skin, her body had, everything. And then I was like the other girl. I really was like the other girl, man. What the heck? She was everything I wasn't. And I was constantly made aware of it. She never did that though. We were tight. Like, she was my person. So she never made me feel that way. It was other people who wanted to point it out. She's really light-skinned. I wasn't. I mean, I'm not. And
I know back home that's a thing.
That's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. She's more curved. I was not. She had a better voice conventionally. And I didn't. And then what started happening is she was more confident as well, especially in the gift, that every time she would go sing at the Allied Arts thing, she would almost always get an honors. I don't remember her getting anything that's less. Maybe she did, but I don't remember it. The one time I decided to go, I got a first class and not an honors. And that was like confirmation to me that what they're saying is really right. Sure. And
so what's this? Sorry, I don't even know.
So there's this
thing.
It's an arts competition in Zimbabwe. It's not only music, but all arts. So prose, poetry, music, the likes, music in marimbas, almost all genres, the marimbas, instruments, piano, a lot of things.
What's the ranking?
So the highest degree is an honors, and then the next one is a first plus, then a first, the second plus, then a second, and then a
so
third.
You still got honored.
Yeah, I still got a first class, but I didn't get an honors. And I would always...
But the way you're saying it, it almost feels like you got a participation.
Yeah, but no.
Thank you for coming.
Exactly.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But the thing about my voice that I didn't know then was I have a unique voice. I don't have a conventional voice. But this is high school. Not a lot of people are there. But people who hear musically were there. So every time I did sing, or Mrs. B again gave me something to lead, there was this one girl, and I think she passed. I think so. She always used to come and tell me afterwards that there's something in your voice that I don't really get. And I just never used to get it. Like, what is she talking about?
Voice?
Amazing.
Me too. Man. I cannot describe how I feel when you sing.
Man, this was not the case at all. I hated hearing myself. I mean that in every syllable of hated. I did not like it. I couldn't even rewatch recordings of when we sang. I still can't. I really struggle. Even at church, I will sing for worship, and then they'll record it to post it on Instagram. I can only listen to 3 seconds, and I can't anymore. I'm working on it, but I can't. Anyway, so this is it didn't help that the boys would almost come through me to get to her. Because I'm a vibe. Not that she's not a vibe, but I'm the vibe. I'm the blind. And I guess, it might have seemed easier to say, let's go and see the vibes from... Yeah, so I remember always thinking, I'm not as pretty. She's the upgraded version of maybe what I am, kind of thing. So I think that's what I struggled with a little bit in high school. And then the weight gain happened. I gained weight in all the places that I've researched extensively about, because this is how much it bothers me, that show all the hormone imbalance. So it seems as if this hormone balance that they were trying to fix actually just disturbed everything. And
maybe they were gonna naturally balance out.
Perhaps.
Yeah, this body is very complex.
It's very complex. So, man, from then it was just not good. Not good. It just went. It's still not good.
It's still not good.
It's still not good. So the thing is, when you were telling us about your experience, and you're saying that some of the way that you eat is because it's coming from there. I don't eat, but I gain weight still because I don't eat. So my body is always trying to store excess energy because I don't eat.
So it still has the opposite effect that maybe you are trying to lose weight, but your body is constantly trying to store.
It's constantly trying to store. And I'm struggling with that now that I'm going to the gym, because I now have to eat. And I don't like the idea of eating.
Relationship with food, because for you it's just
oh, I shouldn't eat. But you're a human being. You know what I mean? You have to give your body energy and all these things. And I feel like even people let's say, who comment on someone eating as well, oh my gosh, oh yeah, eating again.
That's my mom and my dad and my brother. It's we call you every time and you're always eating.
No, they just call us at the wrong time.
No, how is it? I'm a human being. I should eat at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like those things, you kind of get used to hearing them, yes, but they have their impact, because you start to develop a negative. Now you want to hide your eating, because every time you're eating, someone's saying something about it, and there's underlying connotations about your body about it, and you don't want to constantly hear that feedback, because it's negative feedback. So now every time you want to enjoy a meal, it's something you have to do in secret. And
it's crazy because then my brother actually came to visit and he noticed our eating pattern and he was like, what the heck? What the heck is going on here?
He actually made us eat 3 times.
Because he has a healthy relationship with food. He's not about play with him food. And I will eat once a day and be content.
She actually will.
Properly. Yeah, she really actually tries to take care of our food. Oh,
I wake up and I'm angry. Like,
I'm thinking about it. Oh my
my gosh, like I actually didn't eat like 3 times yesterday or this or that. Like I'll be overthinking those small things, and it's like I shouldn't be a slave for food just so that like I can. Because this is the thing, like no matter how much I eat, I'm just a slender person. I have a fast metabolism. So like this fight, it's not a fight I'm going to win because my body is like this, but because I'm fighting that battle from so many years ago of those messages about you don't eat, this is why you look like this. It's still there. But I think, I'm working on it because I'm realizing now that, okay, maybe this is an unhealthy relationship I also have with food, and I need to somehow balance it out. I think I've gotten to like the part where I accept my body. I also accepted like, speaking positive things to my body. It is beautiful. It is sexy. It is this. It is that. Like those things, I think they're important to tell yourself. And I feel like this struggle is a struggle for us as women. It's a real struggle. It's such a struggle because it seeps even into like our relationships as women before you even involve men. Because men, they don't even be concerned like that. But even our relationships, you see like how jealousy develops between women when a beautiful woman comes along
in, and then you feel insecure. You
exactly.
feel like,
now people are feeling like, exactly. And then now you're releasing those negative vibes because you're feeling like you're feeling some type of way. And I think for women, it's such a big thing, like because our image, our ego is so attached to our physical appearance and things like that. So
it is. And you spoke about the whole cycle thing. So I started noticing this didn't used to happen before in a way that I would notice. You know how progesterone holds water weight? So you retain almost double the amount of water when you're close to your period because of the situation that's happening.
The situation.
Oh my God. Like a period ago, I noticed that I'm big. Like I was feeling the abdominal distension. Like, hey, what are the causes of abdominal distension? Number one, menstruation. It was really giving. I went on the scale, and it was reporting that yes, indeed,
we are there.
We are there. And that coupled with a couple of other symptoms, I didn't even really clock that it was my period. And then my period came, and it went down significantly again. The scale also said, we are back to normal. Man, and I remember watching something because now I'm heavily invested in hormone imbalances and all these things. I watched a video where it was like a man, and he says he's into women's health and everything like this. And he was saying you can't, as a woman, if you're measuring your progress in the gym, you have to measure it at the same point in your cycle every time. So you can't say this month I'm in week 1 of my cycle, and then you measure next month in your 3rd week. You're not going to be the same because of the water retention and other factors that get into it. It's serious, man.
And you can't even look the same, at every point in your cycle.
You can't.
It's crazy.
And you feel like you're going backwards, bro. It's like last week I could lift. I was telling Alison the same thing.
It's very frustrating.
Dude, I can't lift the weight I was lifting last week. I was so bad that they remembered.
You just have to remember that.
Like the week before, I can't lift as much. Just before there's this surge, I'll be lifting like I won't even. I can't explain it, and then it comes.
Yes, I feel
like I can relate to this. It's like just the day before, it's like you feel this energy. It's like I don't know, some testosterone or something, and then it's like you lift, and then it's almost like when you lift it, you push the period out of you, then you have the period, and then now you're like all broken down, weak and worthless, and everything. Oh my gosh, like bruh. Self-image issues, God help us.
God really
but I feel like I love that, like we are aware. And I feel like I hope that makes us aware of maybe the comments that we make, even
Yeah,
towards each
to
other,
others, yeah.
to have like some sensitivity with it, to remember that, you know what, like this comment that I'm about to make, should think twice about it. Like, how is it going to impact this person?
Yeah.
How is this going to possibly make them feel about themselves? They might not say anything, because think about it, all these things we're saying, we didn't really respond to it. You know what I mean? But they actually impacted us
Thank you.
in a significant way.
Yeah.
Differently, exactly, that feedback.
We really do. I remember one of my really close friends, he said a comment. He was not meaning to be offensive at all. Later on, we're having a conversation, and I said to him, "You called me fat," and he was shocked. He said, "I never called you fat." I said, "Yes, you did." Then he said, "What did I say?" And I repeated what he had actually said, which I don't remember, because in my mind right now, it's processed as "you called me fat."
Exactly.
And he was like, "I never called you fat. I was just referring to this, and this." But all those things that he said and explained just translated
as
"you're fat." And even like joking about it, again, we were chilling just for fun. And I'm a big joker. Life is barely serious. But when it comes to that, life is very serious. Don't do it. And then we were playing, like nice. And then he like holds my tummy and he's like, "Yeah, time, you need to work on that." I cried on the spot. Like, I didn't wait 3 minutes. Just on the spot, I started crying like, "Oh my gosh, is it really this bad that like someone is noticing and having to tell me that I need to work on this so bad?" Like, and they have no idea that daily, when I say daily, I really do mean every day, like I daily. Pero that I have to fight with, oh, should I eat now or should I not? Okay, if Rose doesn't ask, I can get away with not eating today and then just eat in the night. It's a daily thing, just like how we're supposed to daily lay our lives for Christ. It's a daily thing, that every time I'm consciously thinking, should I wear this or not? Okay, now I've worn this. Even my gym clothes. I'm going to the gym, I'm going to work out. Should I do that or not? The content I consume is all about all this, because now I suspect I'm insulin resistant. Nobody told me that. But like,
just Google your symptoms.
I didn't even have to Google them. TikTok is all over TikTok. I just scroll. TikTok has heard me talking about this. They're probably gonna give me this insulin resistance,
like, everything.
All of this. And another time again, all I'm trying to say is, sometimes it's not a big comment, and sometimes it's not even directly related to you being fat or to you being thin, but this is what I hear. I mean, the only person who calls me fat directly is my mom. My mom will really say, "Hey, Newa, food." But no one else has ever like directly like say, maybe they have, but that's all that translates in my head. That when you comment on that part of my body, you're calling me fat.
Yeah.
And unlike you, which I think is great in the setting of the podcast, I haven't accepted that, and I'm in a state where I've accepted that I haven't accepted it. That like accepted my body in order to love it. I don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that's also why I go to the gym. There's different motivation models, and I think right now the one that's pushing me a lot is the negative focus model, where the pain in something is what drives you to change it, rather than like the acceptance thing. Though I think the acceptance thing will be healthier. But
I mean,
I'll say this, like I said, I think because obviously I've known you for a while and everything, I feel like the things that you're saying are things that I've definitely like picked up. You know what I mean? And this is why I'm super sensitive about what I'm hearing people say. Because I can see that you don't comment about it, but for me, I kind of feel pissed, because I'm just like, you guys don't know what you're doing to this
Doing to
girl
her.
by saying these things. You get what I'm saying? So I think this is why I'm just like, I don't like hearing it, you know, because I see that it's not good for your hey, sister.
You're gonna get emotional, and tissues.
Yeah, like I don't. What the?
You're gonna need more wine.
It's actually
Kidding.
we're not even drinking wine, sis.
Maybe there's some Mugo actually sitting in there sipping on some.
Sponsor us. You know what I mean? Like I really see that, and I think that I love how self-aware you are. You get what I'm saying? But I want you to know that, like, you are actually, and this is to everyone, even to myself, every now and then you have to remind yourself these things. You are actually more than the body that you're in.
Yeah.
You understand? So this is the body that is carrying you through every day. This is the body that is achieving all the things that, you know, you're achieving right now. And because of that, it is a good body that is doing the work that and achieving the things that you're achieving so far. This is not to say that we should be comfortable with not improving things about ourselves for the better, but I think there's a great disservice that we do when we can't, I think, accept, you know, certain things about ourselves that have a potential to change very, very little. Because if it never changes, then what?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what I started to think. Okay, like, I'm a slender person. And I started to look at my genetics. I started to look at the women in my family. Like, listen, them people, one, they don't die. Two, like, they are generally like fit for life, man. And kind of people.
Where I'm from.
You get what I'm saying?
Where I'm from, they're voluptuous.
Yeah. No, but like, I mean, if I look at my mom, like, she was super slender, super like me. I think she's still relatively, I think for a woman her age compared to other women her age, she's still on the, I won't say slender because she has her times, but she's generally, if I say smaller, she's not a small woman because she's like close to my height, so not small, but for her age, you get what you mean, right? Exactly. And for me, I just had to picture that, okay, this is probably how I'm going to age. But to be realistic, I don't know what my dad's genes are going to do to me at some point in my life, right? But this is the body that I will have. And when I see how my mom has carried her body, I think for me, I started to pick up that there is a level of acceptance. And I think those are the things that come with age. We start to accept even the things we don't like about ourselves, that we're not so consumed with changing them, because maybe the change that we expect, it might not be a change that we can achieve, even with things like working out and stuff like that. Maybe if you go under the knife, get a BBL and things like that, you know, then maybe
considered it. She's
considered it.
And when one of, again, my closest friends, when I decided to mention that, he did not want to hear it at all. Like, what do you mean? And then he starts saying, you know, nothing else about you is big. It's just your problem area that you know, and stuff. But it's something when I say strongly considered, I mean as per looking for the place to do it, kind of like strongly considered to honestly, do the fat reduction surgery.
I cannot
blame you. I think a lot of people, like, you know, I know that people are like, oh, it's just an easy way out, is what and what not. I think there is an aspect to that, but there is a really real need for someone to feel good in their body and feel good about themselves and feel just, you know what I mean? But I think maybe sometimes what happens is that maybe when we look at the people we admire, we tend to glamorize probably, and imagine how they live in this great body that they have. And it's just like, wow, they wake up and look at the mirror and never see any flaws, which is not true.
They see the flaws.
You get what I'm saying? So I think that's the problem. Kind of like how you were talking about, suicide, but like the analogy is similar, that you don't see beyond. You don't see beyond that, or you only see that part that is meaningful to you in that moment. And then you don't really look at the after effects, that, we are human beings and we are just flawed. And I think that's how it's supposed to be. So of course, after you slim down the waist, you're gonna see, these are my eyebrows.
I don't like them.
Exactly. After all, my deviated septum. After all, my teeth are not straight. Like, you will never run out of things to kind of fix about yourself. So I think that it's the soul that needs a surgery. Sometimes it really is. I think for me, what has really helped me to improve like my self-image in terms of like just physically, I think I started to be like, what are the things that I really like about myself, and focus on those things.
I mean, if you look at my record, I think I did try. Like, if you look at a lot of my clothing, glamorized. What is to be glamorized?
All the time, girl.
Cleavage is always giving.
Sell your strengths, sis. Exactly. And I feel like when I do that, and when I look at myself and I look at the things that are like great about me, I realize that actually it's wholesome like this. You know what I mean? It's wholesome like this, and start to even see the positive things about even the things that you don't like. How like I think I always because I look at a lot of like imagery about and content about this body image and stuff like that, and I also look at people who are really on the other end of my spectrum, because I can relate so much to how they feel, because actually the feelings are the same.
They're the same.
The feelings are exactly the same, but it's just in different ways, and I relate so much.
Not that bad.
You know what I'm saying? And I can relate so much to how they feel, but you see them, one, they make sure they dress well and everything like that. The same thing, dressing for your body. Even that can make the world of a difference, because you're wearing things that don't flatter you, and you look in the mirror and it's unflattering. It just increases that feeling that, hi, guys, I'm a fridge. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate even people who make this content about like, okay, if you have this type of shape, this is things that are flattering on you and stuff like that. And you start to realize that actually you don't need to change yourself like physically or put yourself under, because I think that also is reinforcing that you are wrong. You are wrong. And maybe not necessarily highlighting the fact that you are not choosing the right way to present yourself in the most flattering way. And I feel like that's also a good mentality to adopt. You're misrepresenting yourself. You get what I'm saying? And I think maybe there's something good about choosing to represent ourselves the best way instead of changing ourselves to fit a certain mode of representation. Because I think the more and more I see, people that are done up, the veneers, the this, the that, when you see someone who is natural, a bit of a crooked teeth, some crooked teeth, something, that is a bit of asymmetrical or whatever, you start to see the charm in those little differences about human, and it makes us human, and for me, I appreciate that so much. Of course, I don't expect other people to feel the same. But I think there's such a charm to those things that we are trying so much to fix and straighten up and make it uniform. And here we are, it's giving H&M.
You really are making it uniform.
And
especially
it's not cute anymore.
No, it's not.
Because it's like you're seeing the same person, the same big ass veneers, and it's like,
and then the trend shifts, and then you see the exact same thing, but it's like you've already changed to fit the other norm. Now you want to shift again to fit the other norm, and
it's
changing. And honestly, I'm like, you know what? Thank God I never got any implants, because guess what? skinny is in
Skinny
again.
is back.
So it's
Nobody cares about the BBLs anymore. Skinny is
You know what
back.
I'm saying? So like these things are changing. Are you going to constantly? And that's when you realize that sometimes it's not. For some people, it really truly is about how they want to feel about their body. But sometimes you start to see that no, it's just about the trends.
Yeah,
it's just about
the
what
trends.
you're ingesting,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
comparing yourself to that at each time. So I think this is why it's wise for people not to rush to, of course, if you want to do these like surgical enhancements or whatever, to not do it when you're so young, because one, your body is still changing.
Your body is still
Two,
changing.
maybe the trends are going to change.
They'll be
Just give
changing
yourself
every
time.
year.
Just give yourself
We
time.
went from BBLs to small BBLs now.
To
Natural.
They call skinny BBL.
Yes,
Skinny BBLs.
skinny BBLs.
I remember there was a time when being thick was really in, and girls were taking epitome.
Yes.
Some people they could never go back.
That skinny where
I consider taking epitome.
Just to gain weight.
Just to, enhance, come on, to. And now, the food is the food. I don't want to see yours. I don't want to see yours. Keep the food away.
It was like,
when I realized that, it's not like when you eat this food or have these things, you can direct it like, here, you go there, you go there. That's when I was like, let me not play myself.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'll now eat the food and it'll just go to my belly. Then what?
That's exactly where
If I have a small chest, then what? What will I do now?
You see, that's the thing, is then I got into this phase of trying to enhance, what the asset that I made.
over and beyond the mountain.
Oh, I was going above the mountains. And then I was just being called to a more mature, let me put it that way, way of dressing. And that's subjective, I know. But from my Christian background, it's really calling me to that. And I was thinking that if I covered all of that up, what am I going to show? What am I going to show with the boobies are covered up?
Your face. That's
my
what
face.
you're gonna show.
And my face is pretty and everything. And then I color my hair all the time. That's just a me thing and everything like that. But I think one thing that is also happening, I don't know if it's happening with others, is these feelings fluctuate. It's not every single day that I hate my body. It's not every single. Sometimes I wake up like, hey, we're going to do this. Let's get it. I wake up. I make my breakfast. I track my protein. I track everything. I go to the gym. I eat enough and everything. And I'm like, you know what? I actually can do this if I can balance things out and I can have a healthy relationship with my body. And then it's time for my period and I'm like, I hate this thing. I hate this thing. Actually, can I do something about it? So it's not like a constant state of detesting my body, but I think what I'm going through is like fluctuations. There are days where I feel hopeful, like I just need to keep going, I just need to be consistent. And like I'm saying, I've consumed the content from the BBLs actually, and also starting to like appreciate that the BBL route is not actually an easier way, because it's
painful.
It's surgery.
It's surgery, and surgery first of all has complications. Secondly, recovery is a real thing, and maintenance is another thing. So when I would watch all these things, I myself medical and everything like this, those drainage things that they have to do after the gruesome ones, like videos that I've watched, it's not an easier way. But I think it's the mentality that I had gone into when I was thinking about that seriously was that there's no other way to fix this. But I'm saying this, I'm about to call myself out because it might help somebody, but I'm not eating what I'm supposed to eat. I'm not going to the gym the amount of times I committed to. When I'm in the gym, I can't just lift weights only. At this point, if I want to recomp or I have to do cardio, I hate it. But I mean, I'm learning about different types of cardio, and we're getting into that.
Yes.
So
with weights and stuff.
how am I expecting to change if I'm not
No,
doing
but I
the
meant
things
the
that
word,
I'm
yeah.
supposed to actually do consistently? And yet in my head it's now imprinted that actually if they just drain out the fat, I can start from there. But I think a lot of
But you build
you
consistency.
you
Yeah,
build
you build it.
consistency. So I think that sometimes, yeah, I totally hate it and I want to go and get it cut up. But I think it's also fair to say that part of having a healthy relationship with yourself in general is the ability to point out that, but you're not eating the way you're supposed to eat, but you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. Why not give yourself a year to see a change and do the things that you're supposed to do? And the same thing happens even, I'm about to preach, but I just got it in my spirit. The same thing happens when you're a Christian. And I've been through this cycle so many times, but like you try to fix things yourself before you take it to God, because you're supposed to be. I'll start when I've fixed it, but you can't.
No,
You can't.
You
always
actually
need it
can't.
in
You
the first
actually
place.
you just need it. Period. You just need the right things. Just do the right thing. You know. So I think, I don't know, the cycle is up and down. Sometimes I can't look at myself in a full body mirror. I can look at my face because it never decline. The face can, my face can buy an island at this point.
for me.
But yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. And like we spoke about the growth spurts, the thing about, I don't know if it's women only, maybe men go through this as well. The growth spurt it just doesn't happen physically. It happens mentally too. So imagine on top of like
Realizing some
yes,
realizations.
and on top of that, my mind also is like having a growth spurt. Double, you know. So
Declining.
I don't know. Navigating these things is just a challenge.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I think when you were mentioning like things like consistency and things like that, there's this podcast I love, hosted by two Kenyan ladies. It's called The Messy in Between. I love it. I think those women, one of my most recent pleasures, and found their podcast very empowering. And one of them, Lydia, she talked about, sometimes you have to ask yourself, you said, oh, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried that. Have you tried this thing consistently for 30 days, each day in a row? There is no way you're not going to see a change.
It's true.
It's true.
Not only in a physical change, but mentally sometimes.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So something changes, and sometimes we want to see quick results, so we don't allow, we actually deprive ourselves from seeing the change happening even in a mental way before it starts to become physical and stuff like that. And when I heard that, that's when I was like, okay, I need to stop saying that, oh, this is not working, because I've not given anything 30 days of consistency. You know what I mean?
Every day.
Every single day. You know what I
to
mean?
bake.
I was like, bruh. But yeah, you guys, you can hear this body self-image is a big part of our identity as human beings.
It's large.
It's large. It's large.
Man.
Yeah, and then
As you fade away, as you fade away.